There are many different types of Pure Lands. A Pure Land is a place where we can achieve or go to in order to do deeper and more faster Dharma practice, where the necessities for living, crops, food, living, housing is very easy. For example, on a normal, ordinary scale, it should be easier to do Dharma practice in Malaysia than it would be to do in some countries in the world where it's disease-ridden, or difficult, or very hot, or full of earthquakes and tsunamis. So what happens is in Malaysia, it should be much easier to do Dharma practice. Why? If we get sick, the hospitals here are very good. The water is very clean. The environment is very clean. It's free of all types of diseases and problems. It's got plenty of food, and it's relatively easy to live. Therefore, in Malaysia, it should be much easier to do Dharma practice, because what we need to do Dharma practice is more readily available, more easier to support life. So like that, if in our world we have countries like Malaysia where it's easier to do Dharma practice, by the power of our karma, there should be places that are even better and higher to do Dharma practice. That is a Pure Land. So therefore, in Pure Land, in Malaysia we can get Dharma teachings, but it's not uninterrupted or when we want. It's according to schedule and time. But in Holy Lands or Pure Lands, we can get Dharma teachings uninterrupted and practice, and what we need to survive is very, very easy. And the reason for that is an outcome of our positive karma, merits. So therefore, the Pure Lands are places where we can reach. They are emanations of the Buddha's mind, or the particular Buddha's mind and their qualities. So a Pure Land can exist on the basis of the Buddha's own enlightened mind. Why? Because where we exist right now is an emanation of our own karma. Why is it an emanation of our own karma? If it's not an emanation of our own karma, then everybody in this world will experience exactly the same thing. Everybody will be pleasant or everybody will be unpleasant. But in one world, in one continent, in one country, in one city, in one house, even in one corner of the room, people can have totally different experiences. Why do they have totally different experiences? Because they have different karmic dispositions from their previous lives. They have different karmas that open up. So therefore, even in one room, people here, some can be very sick, some can be very sleepy, some can be alert, some can be very happy, some can be very angry, some can be very cold, some can be very hot. Even in one room, we can experience many different things due to our karma. So samsara in general is an extension of our karma, what we experience. That's one. The second thing is, Pure Lands are an extension of the Buddha's mind. So if you make a particular connection to a certain Buddha, you connect with their mind, through your practice. Then you can take rebirth in their Pure Land. Now, Vajrayani's paradise, Kichara paradise, or Amitabha's heaven, or Tushita, are examples of different Pure Lands. But during Lord Buddha's time, there was a king, and he belonged to the kingdom of Shambhala. And Shambhala is a kingdom that is supposed to be existent within the Himalayas. Because the Himalayas is huge. There are huge hundreds of kilometers of land that are unexplored. It is just too cold. And the snow there are hundreds and hundreds of years old, not melted and not changed. If you look at an aerial view, it's massive and huge. For example, when I went to Nepal and I went to one of these shops that sell posters, they show the Himalayas. They just show a portion. It's vast and huge. It's impossible for people to trek through. Impossible. So what happens is the Himalayan kingdom is a place where this place, Shambhala, resides. Hence the movies in the West, they base, like the magic of Shangri-La or going to Shangri-La, they base it on that. is a place where it resembles a Pure Land, but it is a place on this planet. And we can go there physically. Just like some people can see spirits, and some people cannot see spirits. Some people can see Shambhala, some people cannot see Shambhala. But you need to have karmic affinity. But it is a physical place, with a physical body, with a physical manifestation, that we don't have to die to go there. We can walk there, we can get there, and we have the karma. Some people are reborn there. In this Shambhala kingdom, is ruled by a Shambhala king. The Shambhala kings are called Rigdens, or Chakravartins, or let's make it simple, Rigden. R-I-G-D-E-N, as it says in the book. The Rigdens are the Dharma kings of this area, and the reason for that is during Shakyamuni's time, the Rigden of that time went down to India and requested teachings from Lord Buddha himself. Lord Buddha gave teachings to many, many beings during his lifetime. He gave more teachings more of his teachings are hidden in non-human worlds, such as the Nagas, such as the Shambhala kingdom. More of Buddha Shakyamuni's teachings are taken or hidden away. For example, when Nagarjuna came, as predicted by Buddha, when Nagarjuna came, he received the Prajnaparamita teachings from the realm of the Nagas. This is well known. And from his giving teachings, it pervaded the whole Buddhist world, including China. His teachings on emptiness. So what happens is those teachings are exactly propagated by him, but taught by Lord Buddha, preserved in the Naga lands. So for example, there are many realms of existence in this world that we cannot see and perceive, that the teachings are hidden away, practiced. Why? Some teachings are specifically for those beings. Some teachings are for those beings and later we get it back for the humans. Some teachings are for the humans, preserved in those places to be given later again. So what happens is, in Tibet you have a tradition called termas. Termas are teachings hidden in the elements, or in mountains, or in trees, or in people's minds, that are opened up much later to benefit people at the right time. So like that, Buddha's teachings, more were taken away and preserved in non-human realms than in human realms. That's why. So Shambhala's king went with his entourage and received teachings from Lord Buddha. He received the 4 principal paths and the 12 and the links, the 3 principal paths, all that he received, the basics. And on top of that, a special set of teachings that Buddha entrusted to them was the Kala Chakra set of teachings. So the Kala Chakra Tantra and initiation, Lord Buddha himself manifested in South India in the form of Kala Chakra deity and initiated the king of Shambhala and his entourage, and then gave him the complete oral transmission, the planting of the seeds, and also the complete commentary on how to do the Kala Chakra practice to become enlightened. So the king, after receiving them from Lord Buddha, went back to the Shambhala kingdom and practiced. He practiced it from his heart. He became a master lineage holder of the Kala Chakra teachings, and he taught that to his subjects. So in Shambhala, they practiced the Kala Chakra teachings very, very much. That was what they received from Lord Buddha. So what happens is, the current Shambhala king should be the 21st. Should be the 21st. So what happens is, people who do prayers to be reborn in Shambhala, they can be reborn there. And some lamas have visions. Some lamas can actually travel there. Some people can travel there astrally. It is a place in our earth. And what happens is when people do the Kala Chakra set of teachings very strongly, they meditate on the Kala Chakra deity and the Kala Chakra path. One of the results can be that they get reborn in Shambhala. Why? Because the Kala Chakra teachings there are very, very alive and very much practiced. So when they take rebirth in Shambhala, what happens is they practice Kala Chakra teachings intensely to become a fully enlightened Buddha. Of course, we can practice Kala Chakra here. It's not as easy as there, but we can still practice. So what happens is that Shambhala is a land that is more pure, more better, easier to live, easier to exist than the way we exist here. Their lives are extremely long. It's said like immortal, free of disease. And what they need to eat and receive is very easy to get, free of pollution. It is in this world. And the teachings they practice is predominantly Kala Chakra that was taught by Lord Buddha to them directly. That is stated in the Kala Chakra's history. That's one. The second thing is, one of the reasons His Holiness the Dalai Lama, there are many reasons, we cannot gauge his mind, it's too vast. One of the reasons His Holiness gives the Kala Chakra teachings to large amounts of people around the world is because the Shambhala is in our world, is to get people connected. It is said during the 25th Kala Chakra king, his name slips my mind right now. During the 25th Kala Chakra king, there will be a spiritual war. People here will discover the land of Shambhala. They will try to invade. They will try to go in and take over. They'll try to go inside and enter the land. So at that time, to preserve the sanctity of the place, the practice, and the people, and to protect them from the outside world, the Shambhala kings will go to war with the outside world. That's us. And what happens is the Shambhala kings themselves are highly accomplished masters because they are a king and also spiritual teacher to their kingdom. They will emanate many armies. From their mind, they will emanate many, many armies, and for the first time, they will leave Shambhala to go to war. They'll go to war with the outside world because the outside world's main problem is materialism. Materialism, destruction of the environment, destruction of people's minds, destruction of people's morality and ethics, which make them totally wild. So this one, the Shambhala kings will fight, and they will come out, and they will conquer the rulers of this world. They will conquer the ruler of that time during the 25th king. When they conquer, that it's around the 24th, 25th century. When they conquer the rulers of this world, the Shambhala kings will go back, and the people will go back. The people here will have no memory of Shambhala, but the people here will go to another renaissance. They'll go back to ethics, they'll go back to morality and practice for a certain short time. Why? Because the ruler that promotes negative action will be destroyed by the Shambhala kings. So at that time, when the battle is taking place, it is said that when you receive the Kala Chakra teachings, you will be present at that time in order not to go to the wrong side, not to fall to the wrong side. So if you're on the outside world, or you're on the inside of Kala Chakra, of Shambhala, it doesn't matter. Your mind will not sway toward barbaric, materialistic, selfish thoughts. Your thoughts will go towards the practice of ethics, morality, and happiness. So one of the reasons why His Holiness gives the Kala Chakra teachings everywhere he goes around the world is to plant seeds in our minds so that when the war of Shambhala is with us, upon us, our minds will not stray toward negative action. That is one of the reasons. So, Shambhala is a place that exists on this earth. Within Shambhala, the Ridens or the Dharma kings who teach the Kala Chakra Tantra and Dharma to their subjects, they're called Ridens, and their house is called Kalapa. And Kalapa court is the house of the kings of Shambhala. So the houses that the kings of Shambhala has Doji Kasum or bodyguards, and they have major domos, the main assistants, they have their liaisons, they have their ministers who help the king to run his kingdom in order that he may promote peace and teach Dharma to them. So similarly, His Eminence Tsem Tulku Rinpoche based his house on the Kalapa court. So the assignments and the names that he gave his subjects, or the name he gave his students, is based on the titles he gave his students is based on the Kala or the Shambhala or the Kalapa court setup. And there are two reasons for that. One is when he modeled his house and his students and his laja based on the Shambhala enlightened household, Kalapa court. When he did that, on one level, it is organizational. It is organizing his laja like that of the Shambhala kings so that Chögyam Trungpa can disseminate the Dharma. Because if his assistants, his liaisons, his major domo, his Changse, and all these people working for him are organized and have a way to follow, organized chart or an example, he's able to disseminate the Dharma much better. And that's on one level. So in non-Shambhala terms, it's a lajang. Kalapa court is a lama's lajang, Chugyun Chungpa lajang. So like that, when the lajang is very organized and has people who do the work well, the Dharma can spread very fast. If the lajang is not organized, it's run by disorganized people or uncaring people or selfish people, then the lama is not able to manifest teachings to the others. Why? Shambhala's connection to the world is through Kalapa court. A lama's connection to his students or the outside world is through his lajang. So the lajang is not organized. It's very, very difficult. So what happens is that's one. Second is, because Rinpoche's household and his assistants are given titles based on Shambhala's enlightened society, which is Shambhala's Pure Land. And the actual household, his lajang, is members are given titles by or based on Kalapa court. Then the very title given is a blessing for the students. So for the students who are given the title of the same positions as in enlightened Kalapa court, it blesses the people to attain purification of the mind and imprint of the mind for two things to happen. One is they can attain Shambhala now. Two is when they die, they can take rebirth in Shambhala. Why? Rinpoche is a sakyong, or an ambassador of Shambhala. Meaning, he is authorized by his lineage and many lifetimes of practicing these teachings. So he has become an ambassador for the the king of Shambhala. Like Malaysia has a prime minister, and we have embassies all around the world. So these embassies serve as gateways or portals for other countries and cultures to interact with Malaysia. So similarly, Shambhala has the Rigden kings. The Rigden kings has ambassadors all over the world who act as people who spread the Shambhala teachings or the Kalachakra teachings so that it becomes a portal or an entranceway for people to take rebirth in Shambhala. So when Rinpoche gave the titles to these different people, to them it looks like a game. You saw the letters he wrote, the titles he wrote on stationery to give people in the other book and in this book. And the reason he gave these titles are two people say, oh, they're just letters, they're just, funny assignments, they're just funny departments or funny titles. But actually not. Those titles are based on actual positions existent in Kalapa court in Shambhala, the real Kalapa court. So what happens is when Rinpoche gave that assignment or that title to the person, when they do it very well, they can actualize Buddhahood in this life. So instead of taking rebirth in Shambhala to practice, Shambhala takes rebirth inside of them. That's one. Second is when they're given that title. Example, Vajrayani has different deities on their entourage. Different deities, like Udongma, Kidongma, Pakongma, Changsongma. So if we give someone that name, like we give child the name Udongma, so you become the deity Udongma, or that's your name, it plants a seed for you to become that entourage deity. And it plants a seed in your mind to achieve that state of Udongma, which is the emanation of Vajrayani's mind. So what happens is, Vajrayani's holy land is called Vichara Paradise. In our organization, we name our organization and we live under the banner of Vichara Paradise. They live under the banner of Shambhala. There's no difference. Why? One who's born in Shambhala will practice Dharma. One who's born in Vichara Paradise will practice Dharma. There's no difference. But the difference is that our Pure Land is somewhere that we cannot see or perceive with this body at this time. Theirs is something that you can see because it's on this earth. Okay? So, Kalapa court is the royal court of the kings of Shambhala. And the kings of Shambhala are special because they have a lineage of practicing Buddhism and Dharma and the Kalachakra teachings from the previous king, from the previous kings, passed from father to son. And each king has a special duty to teach the Dharma. You're thinking, oh, is that possible? Yes. For example, the Dalai Lamas. The Dalai Lamas of Tibet are kings and gurus. They serve two functions for Tibet. So definitely possible. Definitely. So what happens is when he based his organization on Shambhala, then naturally his house is the lajang of the king, because he is the ambassador. So our ambassador in Singapore, when he goes anywhere in Singapore, will be treated like same level as the Prime Minister. Why? Because our ambassador in Singapore represents our country. He is the ambassador. He is representative of our leader. So same thing. Chögyam Trungpa is a representative of the Riten kings of enlightenment, of the Shambhala enlightened society. Why do we call it enlightened society? Because that society focuses on becoming enlightened. Does everybody understand that? Any questions? So when we work in the lajang, the Lama gives us certain positions. If we carry out the positions well, it's very, very beneficial for us. If we run away or escape or we don't carry the positions well, then it will reflect on our Dharma practice. Why? Because that is Dharma practice. It is Dharma practice. So when we run away from the lajang, we don't do the work well, or even we joke about it, oh, I don't want it, I don't like it, I can't do it. When we always run away, it's a clear sign of our practice. Most people who run away from the lajang will be very bad in their personal practice. Why? It's similar. One is action, one is word. So you can check. People who do lajang work and do it well, they will transform. They will change, they will transform. People who cannot do lajang work well will run. That's why Rinpoche put many people in his lajang, except his lajang is not called Chögyam Trungpa, he calls it Kalapakor. Kalapakor. So he plans to take his students to Shambhala. Inner and outer Shambhala. Inner is enlightenment, outer is place. In other organizations, the lamas can be taking their students to Kichara paradise, or to Shida heaven, or Amitabha's Western paradise. It depends. But wherever we go, it doesn't really matter, as long as it's a place where we can practice Dharma. Whether we get teachings from Amitabha, the Riten kings, or we get teachings from Vajrayogini or Maitreya Buddha, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. Teachings are teachings. So like that, what he's doing for his students and his household is very profound. It's very deep. Why? It hits them at many, many levels. Many, many levels. So in the beginning we had strength and we pushed ourselves and we made an effort. Those people think, oh, I work for the lajang, I work for the society, I'm very happy, I did a good job, I rejoice. Those people who didn't have it, when they realize it later, like now, they'll think, oh, I have a lot of regrets. Why? A lot of opportunity lost. A very big opportunity lost. So like that, all lajangs are the same everywhere. All lamas who have good motivation or accomplished lamas have the same methods, just different labels and different names. All the same. So in this, that's what he's talking about in short in regards to Shambhala place, Shambhala teachings, Shambhala enlightened society, and his association with Shambhala.